Alright, and we are live. So we're doing a review of the new Dorian Electra album titled My Agenda. So let's start off with the first track, F the World. So what'd you think?
Well, I feel like I should start just by giving, just a little background. I don't know anything, almost nothing at all about contemporary pop music.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't even think I've heard Despacito in full. I'm completely out of the loop.
Uh-huh.
So just keep that in mind, listeners, I guess.
Sounds like you were born in the wrong generation, dude.
Yeah, something like that. No, I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. So just take in mind that anything I say, I don't know anything about the context of this release. I don't know who Dorian Electra is either. I didn't Google anything. I just listened to the album a couple times.
All right, cool.
So that said, well, I kind of wanted to do it that way just so I could listen to the music and just take it as it is. But then, listening to the album, I was like, oh wait, this is actually I feel like this is an album that you need context for, if that makes sense, just because of how it is. But anyway, so the first song, F the World, let's see, what did I think? For me, the thing that really popped out is immediately the production was just nothing I was used to at all. But this is very interesting because there was a lot going on and it was well mixed. So at the very least, I could listen to everything and think about it. It wasn't like I was just getting assaulted with, I don't know, like Lou Reed or something where you can't really hear anything. But so it was very interesting to listen to the production from that standpoint. But this particular song, it has the Pachelbel chord sequence in it.
I should also mention you were very big into music theory, where I am not, so you'll have a much more detailed perspective on this stuff.
Well, on some of it, but so the Pachelbel thing, if you've heard Pachelbel's canon before, probably. My singing isn't great, but it's the dun da da dun da 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 dun da da dun da 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 da. That thing, and the song, it goes into that, and so immediately that's all I could hear, and that particular piece makes me think of Christmas or graduating from high school. So it was hard for me to separate that feeling from the song as a whole. Let's see, what else did I think? Yeah, like I said, the mix was very clear and the vocals were intelligible even when there was a bunch of screaming going on, which I thought was very impressive just from a technical standpoint. And the other thing I thought is there was a lot of what seemed to be tropes from old, early 2010s pop music, which seemed to me to be an homage more than anything, especially as this album went on. I felt I got the feeling that it was an homage to 2010s pop internet culture. I don't know if I'm just totally off base.
No, I feel that. There's a couple of other songs I kind of got that feeling from too.
Yeah, for sure. What did you think of this first track?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good opener. Yeah, like you said, it's pretty wild, and I think coming off of Dorian's last album that I listened to, it was called Flamboyant. I thought that album was very kind of affirmative and very proud of its gender queer nature. And so with this opening up the way it does with F the World, F because I want to kiss it, or it hates me or it pains me, I thought
I want to embrace it.
Yeah, stuff like that. I just thought it was a very interesting kind of change. So because that was my expectation in mind, because the only single I heard off of this was Edgelord with Rebecca Black, which we will get to. But
that's how when I saw that, because like I said, I don't know anything about this album. I was just looking at all the features, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of features. And I saw Rebecca Black, and that was the only name I recognized.
Yeah, a lot of
other than the Village People.
Yeah,
Pussy Riot, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree. When I first saw the track list with all of the features, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be kind of a hodgepodge or a bit of a mess. But I think overall it turned out pretty well, at least for me. But what's up?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
Yeah, sorry. So for the first song, I thought it was really fun. I liked a lot of the drum and bass elements. I especially like the end where the percussion is just thumping over and over again at to close it out. So I like the opener.
I was just gonna say, so I think the whole album has a cohesive sound to it. Everything, it sounds like it's all from the same album. it's cohesive in that way. I would say some of the songs weren't cohesive. I guess we'll get into that though.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't necessarily that is not necessarily a bad thing. I just don't really know what I don't even know which person singing on this album was Dorian, actually, because I did no research. I'm a bad boy.
No, it's all good. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next track. What'd you think of My Agenda?
Okay, so this song, it started with what to me sounded clearly like a person just scratching their finger on a microphone.
Yeah, that was like a chalkboard.
I thought, to me, it sounded like someone scratching on a microphone, which you might do to, like, I don't know, just test levels very quietly or something. And I really liked it, which was bizarre.
You like the song?
It might have been the mic scratching noise. I really liked it. Honestly, it was my favorite production technique, which was really bizarre. I didn't expect to hear it, and when I did hear it, I enjoyed it. Okay, I wrote a few things about this song. So personally, I don't like the programmed cymbals sound, and I think this is the only song that really appears on. And this is where I first started to notice that this was like kind of like an album that was referential to like 2010s stuff because it played the air horn noise very prominently, and then had a bunch of people screaming, which to me immediately made me think of, like Skrillex and like somebody call 911 and like montage parodies. And then because they started talking about, is this the song? Oh wait, no, is this the song where it starts talking about the frogs being gay?
That's at the end of the track, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, so that's what really clued me in. I was like, oh, this is talking about, well, obviously it's talking about, like, it's poking fun at like the gay agenda as a thing. I mean, I support the gay agenda personally, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, but this is what clued me in initially, that this was like possibly celebrating / making fun of simultaneously, maybe just the internet culture that you and I grew up in.
Well, I felt like it was a way of mocking it because like I remember like the early 2010s, it was all about like the gay agenda because a lot more like gay like characters were entering in like properties people cared about, like movies and video games. So like, it turned like into this weird like qualification of like, hey, if this character is gay, okay, why are they gay?
Like the start of people being like, oh, is this character just gay to appeal to people?
Like,
queer baiting or whatever.
Queer baiting and stuff like that. So I thought it was poking fun.
I guess that is when it started, yeah.
Yeah, especially with the line, out here flexing in my rainbow suspenders, or like, my agenda will infect ya, out to get ya. It's top tier, like, shit it's posting
really
with
subtle,
a message.
Yeah, really subtle commentary on STDs or something. I'm not sure. No, but yeah, I thought the song was fun.
Yeah, I also thought Pussy Riot's like verse, even though they were speaking in Russian, I thought it absolutely like went wild, and holy moly, there's like a middle section where like there's just a ton of like crashing riffage and just screaming. I thought it was delicious.
I think I wrote that the lyrics aren't as audible on this, but that's probably just because it was in Russian and I just didn't think about it, and I was just like, oh, I can't make out what they're saying, but duh, it's in a foreign language. Like, yeah. So at this point, I thought the production was again interesting on this track, and it wasn't like the only interesting thing about the track, so it has like listenability on it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Okay, moving on to the next one, Gentleman. I'll go first on this one. I kind of liked it. I know it's supposed to be a counterpart to the following Milady, but like again, this is just another like shit posting track because Dorian makes a reference to like a fedora and just saying like I'm a gentleman and shit like that. And I thought like I don't know if it's like electric horns that they implemented or like if it's actual like organic like.
No, I think that was definitely a horn sample.
Okay, yeah. So like I thought it was like kind of like dance hall-y. I enjoyed it. Thankfully, it wasn't like 3 minutes long. It was only like a minute and a half long, so it didn't feel like dragged out because I think the track right after complements it really well.
Yeah. So for me, the horn sample, it brought to mind two things. It either brought to mind like MIDI horns
Yeah, that's
or
what
whatnot on like old video game soundtracks, especially in particular Nintendo soundtracks, seem to
yeah,
have that
I got a lot of
quite
like
a bit.
vintage like MMO like soundtracks like World of Warcraft or like some like medieval MOBA or MMO.
Yeah, like it's not necessarily a good sounding noise, but again, just because of things before, it evokes a certain connotation with it. It's I guess it's coded. It's kind of video gamey, I guess. Like we don't hate it because we are used to it in some respects from other media, so it's not super jarring. I'm interested why they chose to use it, I guess.
Yeah, it pops up like multiple times on the album, but
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting production choices. Like everything on this album feels very calculated. So some of the choices, like even the ones I don't agree with, I'm just more interested in what exactly they were going for sometimes, because it's hard to know how effective it was. If like, because the point I don't think for a lot of this music isn't necessarily to be super enjoyable, it's to make a statement or something.
well, I think for in this case, most of it is just like shit posting, like musical
Maybe,
shit
but
posting.
it's very thought out shit posting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I guess the other thing that horn sample reminded me of is on Kate Bush's Hounds of Love album, she uses this one synthesizer that also sounds like that, and I also didn't really like it, but because I love that album so much, I did end up liking it on this album.
Yeah, good transitive property. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we were mentioning the follow-up track, Milady, which is like much darker, and there's like it's very like incel-y because of like saying my lady is this, my lady is that. It even says my lady is not real or my lady is a dream. There's also like this really like heavy breathing effect, like neck bearding
Yeah,
breathing.
I liked
was, like,
that.
Yeah, I thought this one was great too. What about you?
I think this might have been my favorite song. Yeah, the harpsichord sample was actually, I'm not sure if it was a sample or someone just playing like a harpsichord. It wasn't a real harpsichord, I don't think, but either whatever it was, if it was a sample or somebody just playing one on a keyboard, I mean, they played it well. There were some nice trills. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, the heavy breathing was really cool. I thought this song was really mixed well. And when I listened to the album again, I thought this was my clear standout favorite song because I found it to be like the most coherent, and I liked all the production and artistic choices on it.
Cool.
There's always something that I liked going on.
Cool. So that leads to Iron Fist. It kind of continues that like medieval like MIDI sound, except it's a lot. Except like the hook here is a lot more sporadic with like the rapid like tempo of it.
Medieval?
Or
For Iron Fist?
For Iron Fist. Or that's what I got from it. I might be thinking of the wrong track though. But yeah.
Well, because there's definitely Monk something that definitely was going for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I got a medieval vibe from Iron Fist, but maybe you did. Like,
or like more like fantasy or like fairy tale or something like that.
maybe. Yeah. So, what else did you think of it?
Oh, I like the lyrics. It's kind of like either like matriarchy or like patriarchy. There's a lot of like sentiment of like I'm a ruthless guy and that's how I like it. My grip is like tight and I can smell no fear, or I'll make you beg for more Iron Fist. So I assume it's like in a sexual manner, but
yeah, I don't think it's reaching too far to say this album is very gay. And this song seemed it like first listen. That's
Dorian's
why I got
non-binary, so can you really say that?
I don't know. I don't know my gender theory too well. But what was I saying? I was saying, oh yeah, first time I definitely thought it was about relationships, but second time it just seemed to be more of like a BDSM song.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of those like on the later.
yeah. Give thanks or whatever the last.
Oh yeah.
Great thanks.
We'll get to that one. That one's a doozy.
There's an iron pipe noise for percussion on this song that I liked. big fan of the iron pipes getting hit. Oh, and I like the guitar tone on it as well.
Yeah, that's probably what I was referring to.
Yeah, otherwise, I don't know. I didn't really like this song a whole lot.
Okay. Moving on is Barbie Boy. I thought I didn't enjoy this one all that much. I think on first listen, I kind of liked like the hyperistic nature of it, but coming back to it, I just kind of found like the very like rushed like vocal delivery to kind of be unappealing after a couple listens. Like I'll be Barbie Boy, I'll be your favorite toy, I'll be your new best friend. I feel like the tempo is just a bit like jarring.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
And it went on for like almost the entire song, so it kind of got like mind numbing to a point.
Yeah, I can see that. For me, this reminded me of like listening to Katy Perry on the bus in middle school, which I wasn't happy about.
What Katy Perry song sounds like this?
I don't know, but maybe just the synth riffs made me think of, I don't know, California Girls or something.
Yeah, it is very sugary, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's sugar pop parts to many of these songs. Like, I'm not saying any of these songs are particularly sugar poppy, but there's like definitely bits of them that are. And this might be the song that has the most of that. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy it. I just didn't think it was that interesting. But what I did wonder is because on all of these songs, there's a lot of auto-tune, and there's a lot of this digital stuttering effect in the vocals. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So again, me not having no context of contemporary pop production, is this common, or is this like something
for this genre? Wild? Yeah, there's a lot of like vocal stuttering and digital effects. So
okay, so they're like intentionally going for a computerized sound, and it's like,
yeah, it's supposed to be like futuristic or like a depiction of like a future we can't like ever predict, you know, with like idol, like I don't know, like robotic idols and like kind of a cyberpunky vibe, but not like the dark aesthetic that it goes for, more like the over exaggerated parts, stuff like that.
Like, is it like a satire of retrofuturism? I don't like.
Maybe it's more like,
is that like a phrase that I just came up?
We heard your futuristic music, so we're gonna amp it up to like 50. So that's what I would get from this genre.
Yeah, like I don't hate it as like a production choice. I just thought it being on every song,
yeah,
for me at least, became a little fatiguing, just because I don't really like it as an effect.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting to hear it because, like, I don't know, I listen to a lot of classical music. I'm a dork. Obviously there's none of that, so it's a very different use of vocals as an instrument than in a classical setting, or even most settings until, I would say, like, I don't know, when did the vocoder become a thing? Like Kraftwerk?
Yeah, around that time. I think their album came out in the 70s, I think, or I forgot which one it was. Transcontinental something. Or
my brother would know, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember either.
But yeah, so like it's just a very different usage of the voice than I'm used to, and so it's interesting for that fact, I guess.
Okay. So moving on is Sorry Bro, I Love You. This one is definitely like a callback to like early like 2000s pop punk with like the vocal inflections.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and like I also like the topic of the song where it's like somebody like being like, I love you, bro, but like I don't want to come off as like homosexual to like other people and stuff, like having that like closeted feeling over just like a normal like bromance. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I feel like that's something that male friend groups do have to deal with. And yeah, as far as subject matter goes, yeah, the subject matter is interesting. But like the way it's presented isn't super deep, I guess. It comes off more as kind of like novelty.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I feel like the production and just like the overall melody really like sunk its teeth into me, so I don't mind it.
Really? See, I thought it was I thought it was funny when I listened to it the first time, and then the second time when I listened to it, because I knew what it was going on, I guess. I didn't find it particularly interesting or enjoyable. Other than, I guess it does bring up, like an interesting topic of conversation with like boys talking about their feelings, which
how dare they?
I mean, of course, it's very gay, which is why it's on a gay album. um, anyway,
All right, moving on to the next one. I think Monk Mode interlude. It's only like a minute long, and I think I liked it at first, but I think coming back to it, it's just way too short for it to like be an establishing track of any like significance. I do like when it like aggressively turns metal, like halfway through.
yeah,
But, like,
just out of nowhere.
yeah, but like I don't know. It's just its impact is just not very resolute with me.
The initial vocal sample reminded me a lot of Vincent Price on Thriller. You know what I'm talking about?
The laugh he does at the end, or like the beginning?
No, where he's talking.
Oh, where he's talking. Okay.
The funk of 40,000 years.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it just, of course, with this weird Gregorian chant thing going on as well, which I'm down with. But I think this track gave me a lot of whiplash. I wasn't ready for it. Again, a lot of interesting production. And I listened to it a second time, and my impression the second time was that it was very, very well made, like meme montage music. Like it was designed to give whiplash, I guess is what I would say, and it succeeded very well, I thought.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't all that into it. So moving on is Edgelord with Rebecca Black. So I will say the first time I heard this, I was like, I like the sound. I'm not really feeling the vocal delivery or Dorian's vocal delivery. I just thought they were like a little bit like over exaggerating their lyrics. Then I came back to it and I started really like listening to the lyrics, and I realized that Dorian's just like speaking from the perspective of like the Joker. Like they mention we live in a society. One question: why so serious? Did I offend you? I'm so curious, and stuff like that. And then I did not expect Rebecca Black's like verse to like give me like that holy shit effect, because the last two lines she says on like I think vocally she sounds good, but the last two lines really caught me for like a whirl. Cause I would have never envisioned the girl who sung Friday to say something like, "Feel lucky that you ever caught a glimpse before I turn your favorite fuckboy into a simp." I was like, oh my.
We all slept on Rebecca. She's really a queen.
Indeed.
Yeah, so this made me think about like Edgelord has had a lot of shelf life as like a term. I feel like that's been around since I was like 12.
Yeah.
And it's still here, and it's still relevant. Did the Joker and like Gamers Rise Up single-handedly keep it relevant, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of stemmed from the whole like the Joker meme. Started like four like years ago with the whole we live in a society kind of crap, and then the movie came out and it only exacerbated it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought it was another kind of like novelty song. And the production really goes to emphasize that. Again, very calculated in what it's trying to accomplish. And it definitely does so, I think. But again, I wouldn't find it particularly enjoyable to listen to over and over again or anything. But listening, I think I enjoyed the album most when I first listened to it.
Right.
Maybe because it's just a lot of shock factor and like a lot of stuff that I was like getting acquainted with very quickly that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, I do enjoy all the references to, again, like culture that I'm acquainted with from being my age. And the production is very interesting to me. I like what they did with the electric guitar, because totally wild, and it still sounds like a guitar. It doesn't lose its characteristic as an electric guitar.
Yeah.
But they do digitize it.
Okay, cool. All right, next track is Ram It Down, which is, I think, like another attack. Not another attack, more like a satirical take on like the whole like gay agenda thing. But like this one takes it to like a graphic, obscene level of like hypocrisy, where people say, "Oh, don't ram your agenda down my throat," and they keep like coding the "ram it down" part with like more and more like sexually suggestive like lyrics.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
it sounds very kinky.
Yeah, it is very kinky, but not to mention like how like wild the riffage goes on this track. Like holy shit. And like all the verses, all the screaming is fantastic. And there's even like a line here I thought it was pretty funny. It says, "Just don't shove rainbows in my face. Even Lucky Charms leprechauns want to turn me gay." That was pretty funny. And I also like the outro where it's like ram it down, ram it down.
That was another like Skrillex dubstep moment for me. It brings me back to high school gym class.
Bang-a-ring.
Somebody call 911. But yeah, this one was another kind of whiplashy one because it goes from like bubblegum pop to like synth metal to like noise music to hip hop, like very quickly. And so that's what I was listening to. The only lyrics I can remember are "Ram It Down." I wasn't listening too closely, because I was listening to all of the music going on in the background.
Right.
But this album's kind of, or not this album. This song is kind of what made me realize, like, oh, a lot of these songs are just going through like different genres of music and then like assembling them into one song.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's like an amalgamation of stuff. And usually like stuff like fusions like this usually wouldn't work in an organic context, but considering how many like digital effects and like cyber effects there are, it all like somehow like not cohesive. It's all made cohesive.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like quite cohesive because you can still hear, like, you can be like, oh, now we're doing this genre, now we're doing this genre.
Yeah,
it works as an album as a whole. But like on a song to song level, sometimes I'm not sure. And again, that could just be what they're going for, like this very postmodern, like attention deficit thing. I'm not really articulating that well. Maybe they're like attention span. They're saying something about that, or they're saying something about internet culture, or just I'm kind of rambling, but I'm not necessarily saying that a lack of song cohesiveness within a song is bad. Like it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the last song, closer of "Give Great Thanks." Do you want to go off on this one?
I mean, it was relatable.
I bet it was.
Yeah. I thought it was very accessible until I started listening to the lyrics, and I was like, oh, I don't know if you could play this on the radio.
yeah, like it comes off like when the song comes in, it has like a very like gracious feel to it. Like I guess like the key arpeggios are like very like humble or like thankful, and then you just hear what Dorian is saying, and it's like, wait, that's not how that's supposed to go.
Yeah, it comes off like as it is, like an album closer, like, and you feel like on like a concept album or something, this would be like where we're closing up the themes of the album or something.
Yeah.
And it does impart that vibe immediately, but then it's just like, fuck my face.
I will give great thanks to you. Fuck my face for 100 days or at a rapid pace. I'm a lifeless hole for you.
That was my favorite line on the whole album. It just feels like I've browsed so many cringe subreddits. I've seen so many things that just basically are like that. It just hit my funny bone. But I mean, also, relatable. So, like, I guess good work.
Yeah.
Really, really hit the duality of man on the head with this one.
Indeed. Okay. So what'd you think of it, like, overall, and like what score would you give it?
I don't even know. I don't feel qualified to rate this album.
I'm not certified. You're more of a musician than I am. I just rate stuff.
Well, what I mean is like, I don't, because it's like not a genre, or like, I just feel like I just got dropped in a dark forest and I don't know what's going on. I don't like it. I just, if I had more context for the genre, I mean, there's like two ways to rate music. It's like, oh, how like good or important it is, you know, like objectively or as close to objectively as you can get, and like how much you just enjoyed it on a personal level. Because there's like music that you and I probably don't like that everyone acknowledges is important or something, and then like it would just be a sin to rate it anything less than like 10 out of 10. I don't know, like.
But what do you feel like?
Computer or something.
What would you do it on a personal level? Like, this has nothing to do with like objectivity, but like, just based off your personal enjoyment without any context, kind of being dropped into the war zone, what would you rate it?
I wouldn't listen to it again. I don't know. If I don't want to listen to it again, what's that, a 0? But that just feels so harsh. I don't want to give anything a 0. I would say it was very well made. It had intent. I think it accomplished what it went out to do, but I would not listen to it again. So I'll give it the good old YMS 6 out of 10.
I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. Yeah. Okay. For me, I don't think I do like this record. I think it's like beyond bonkers sonically, but like I don't know. I think it was just I think the novelty of it being so contemporary and just kind of being like I said, it's just a giant musical shitpost for most of it, though a very.
And I feel like it's gonna be it's gonna be like a time capsule to 2020 eventually. You know, like I feel like this album might not age particularly well. But when you put it on in like 2040, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember 2020. Holy crap, there was some weird shit coming out.
Yeah. But like, yeah.
I feel like it'll be identifiable with this era.
Absolutely. This like just generation is just very how do I say this? Hedonistic? Maybe that's the word.
I don't know if that's necessarily the right. I mean, this album certainly seems to embrace it, but not like entirely.
Right.
But it is, yeah, influenced by that, I guess would be the word.
Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, I think it is a very wild album, but I think it was just kind of missing that longevity to it, where I can come back to it and not have to like connect the dots to like certain other topics to really relate to it. Because I felt like on their last album.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I felt like on their last album, Flamboyant, it explored like a lot of the ideas and just like the feelings of what like genderqueer is in such a graceful and much more like accomplished fashion. So I think personally, I just dig the previous album more, but I still I still think this one is great. If I had to rate it, I would probably give it like a solid 8 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most serious parts of this album were now knowing that they're genderqueer. I just thought that they were gay. I wasn't even sure which voice was theirs. I think the most serious topics of this album are dealing with that, and just dealing with the people who say things like, oh, you being this identity is forcing a perspective on me because you're asking me to not call you he or she.
Yeah.
I think that they are just letting off some steam on that, understandably, and doing so in a not too forceful way. They're doing it in like a fun way, I guess.
Yeah. I never got any like spite or like venom out of like the album.
Yeah, they aren't standing on a soapbox.
Yeah. It's just more like, haha, I think you're stupid, and here's why I think you're stupid.
Yeah. I think you're stupid. I'm going to play some really fucking weird music because I like it.
Indeed. Okay, so that is about it. I thank you for reviewing this with me. If you want to do another one, please let me know.
It's been fun. Thank you for having me. I hope I wasn't too pretentious.
I mean, you kind of look like Adam Savage, so I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, God. No, not Adam Savage, the other one. I hate that you told me that. Jamie, what's his name? Oh, whatever.
No. We got to dig the bottom of this. Hold on. I'll find it.
Jamie Heineken? Nope.
What on earth? Jamie Hyneman.
I don't quite have...
yeah, you're Jamie Hyneman. You don't have like the Eggman's mustache? Yeah, but like...
I hate that you said that. I don't know if I can wear a beret anymore.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Boy.
Hello. Bye.